Hey, everybody, how's it going? So, Tim Pool absolutely blasts Candace Owens here, and Tucker Carlson, to a degree, anyway. And he says some things that I kind of disagree with, and I'll kind of fill you guys in on it. Let's listen to Tim Pool speak here. But before we do, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. Those are the main ways to help me. I don't ask for really anything else other than just like, subscribe, and share because, trying to grow this channel out. I genuinely appreciate y'all being here, even the people who are super pro Candace and are very much against me. Thank y'all for at least clicking the video. I just ask that you all hear me out, hear my full point, and then comment. You know what I mean? Or give me some crap afterwards. Make an argument. Don't just come in here and insult me. We're not going to get anywhere with that. So anyway, let's start right into this.
I'm looking at the violence at Turning Point USA, and I'm looking at Turning Point and Candace, and it is true. Someone at Turning Point was leaking stuff to her, like for what reason? And I'm wondering what Turning Point is doing. I don't hold Turning Point, responsible for what Candace is doing, but I'm just like looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, okay, let me put it like this for all you guys. I don't care if Candace is right or wrong, or Turning Point, or and anybody else in the drama is right or wrong. That's fine. People are allowed to do whatever they want. They're allowed to talk about whatever they want.
Yes, but it's not about being necessarily right or wrong, specifically about, like, who did what, right? Whose conspiracy theory is right, whose conspiracy theory is wrong. My issue with Candace is two very, very simple things, okay? First and foremost, she's not even allowing whatsoever the other side, the whole entire socialist, communist side that probably most likely did this to Charlie Kirk, the underground Trantifa people. She's not even allowing their evidence to come through. She's not covering the evidence or anything along those lines. There were an entire Discord leak that Turkey Tom dropped, and she has not talked about it once. And you have to ask yourself why that is. There's also other evidence out there. Like she goes, oh, but the 30-06, no matter what, that would decapitate. And it's like, no, ma'am. There are many different rounds that they make for it. Many different rounds, all the way from 55 grain coyote shot, which won't even go all the way through a 16-pound coyote. See, coyotes are fully grown anywhere between 16 pounds and 48 pounds. The reason why I say the 16-pound part is because it's supposed to take them out too without going all the way through them so you don't hurt your neighbor. Okay? They make those rounds for a specific reason. They make it for a 30-06 because the 30-06 itself is a very, very good rifle that's very, very easy to aim. Okay? It's made for shooting long distances. Therefore, they can make a weaker bullet for it that'll be a lot more accurate and not take your neighbor out, half a mile down the road. Otherwise, if you were to shoot the bear bullet that, they make for it, the one that takes out bears, 225 grain, 255 grain, I can't remember which one it is, we're somewhere in that range. If you were to hit a coyote with that, it would go through that coyote and quite possibly keep going and take somebody else out that you didn't intend. There's a reason why they make those rounds, but Candace won't bring that information up whatsoever. She is fully convinced that Charlie was hit by the strongest round possible from a 30-06, that the 30-06 only shoots one single round. It's interesting, isn't it? It's very weird. That's kind of my problem with the whole thing, and not to mention, she's pointing fingers with no evidence. She's going, oh, well, there's a couple of weird things, therefore Turning Point USA betrayed him. It can't be Erica Kirk, though. She came out and said, hey, the diaries are fake. Okay, and the succession isn't real. Charlie would have had lawyers, da-da-da-da-da. The problem is Erica Kirk disagrees with that. She succeeded exactly where those supposed diaries, told her to succeed him at, and everyone else did too. So when she sits there and says, I'm not blaming Erica Kirk, well, how is that possible? She is the helm of TPUSA. It's a little ridiculous. So, Tim, we do have to call out the lies when Candace blatantly makes lies. Okay, especially when she's telling millions of people these lies and is refusing to show the other side of the evidence. That's what a leftist would do, Tim, and you know this. You absolutely know this. She started out as an extreme left-winger who doxed kids with her company, Degree 180, on her website, Social Autopsy, back in 2016 when she was bragging about voting for Hillary Clinton and was against Trump. Who's she against today?
The issue is that at the end of August, where were we as a country?
Right.
We were here doing our shows, talking news and politics, of course, and preparing for the end of the year special, as we often do. There was a plan, there was a path, and for me, both personally and professionally, things were looking up. The show and everything here, we're growing. We're bringing on good people. We're expanding. We've got, coffee sales are going up and memberships and board sales and organization. Skate night events we've been doing have been massively successful. So business is good. And politically, we're riding the wave, baby. Trump won. Let's keep going.
And Charlie was so proud of that. He was so happy about it. You could see all of his shorts. If anybody whatsoever has no doubts about Candace Owens at all, go and look at the last shorts or episodes Charlie Kirk himself released, with Charlie Kirk in it debating students. Look at his final words before this happened and tell me Candace Owens is correct.
Me wrong, there were terror attacks throughout the year, but Trump was on track.
Yes.
I texted Charlie Kirk, and I asked him, just following up on the plan for the end of the year, because Timcast IRL does Turning Point's Amfest the past 3 years. It's an amazing experience, and it's an honor and a privilege to be there. And Charlie texted me back, look at me, revealing our texts, saying, let me circle back to the team and get you the details. We'll get it going. Because I said, hey, let's get it set up so we can, set everything up in advance. I've got some other PR opportunities and stuff in the area. And a week after that, they killed him.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell you what I'm saying, what I'm feeling. That moment before Charlie was murdered, there was a path that we were on that was promising.
We weren't distracted. We weren't distracted at all. And that's why it worries me more than anything about Candace. I know she's allowed to talk about whatever she wants, but the problem is she's pulling people over to the left. She really is. She's pulling people over to anti-Trump and everything that we worked for. It hasn't even been a year since the election yet. Or no, it has been a year. Actually, November 5th. My bad. It's been exactly 1 year since the election. And already MAGA is completely in shambles now. All over Charlie Kirk's end. And we don't know exactly why. Exactly how this could have happened this way. The evidence that the FBI has released was nothing like what was released for JFK. It's all 100% believable. Every single portion of what happened to Charlie Kirk is not impossible. What happened with JFK was impossible. Remember, he got hit with a magic bullet. It made several holes through him. Somehow one bullet, when everybody else was claiming there were multiple shots. With Charlie Kirk, we hear the video. We saw the students' videos. It was one shot. Where from? Directly across from him. Where at? The neck. Where he probably would have been aiming for the head. The bullet probably dropped a little bit. And it's probably because he used a weaker bullet that wasn't quite capable of going the full distance of the 200 yards. See, the coyote shot I mentioned is good between 100 to 150 yards, is what it says on the Remington green box. You can read it yourself. Which means at about 150 yards, that bullet's going to have drop. And for another 50 yards, yeah, that probably would be accurate. Because he was pulling the trigger from about 200 yards is the estimate. So yeah, that tracks. That absolutely tracks. So it would have had a bit of drop. It would have dropped down to the neck area. The thing about all that is that's if he was using that round. And if we see that during the court, during the trial, okay, then Candace will have nothing, and it's going to be an embarrassment. What I ask of you guys is to please, let's get back to normal, just like we were before Charlie's end. We have a trial coming up. I can tell you this, there will be absolutely, for one, no new evidence that drops whatsoever between now and the trial. Absolutely none. And Candace Owens will not provide it. She hasn't provided anything so far. She's provided weird anomalies. There was a weird Egyptian airplane in the area. Why the hell would we use Egyptian forces to take somebody out in our own country, in the middle of our own country, when we have perfectly capable people to do it here? Do you think that makes sense? Why would we have Israel do it? It doesn't make sense. If Israel wanted it done, Donald Trump could have sent a military guy to drive over there with no trail whatsoever, take care of it and disappear, and the guy could still be on the run today, we would never know. We wouldn't need a patsy per se. But let's say we did get a patsy, okay? Let's go ahead and say we did. We still wouldn't have these aircraft flying around. It doesn't make any sense. They could have had the military set up, special forces, a special operation, something, over there in the woods to camp out a day or two before Charlie Kirk went to that event. Again, it doesn't make sense. Guys, we're not going to have any evidence come out. Not until the trial. So at least give the benefit of the doubt and wait for the trial to happen. That's all I'm asking for. We need to be focused on where our country is going. We could focus on Charlie Kirk all day long. Okay? And for what? At the sacrifice of 350 million people? Guys, a trial will come up, and we will see if the evidence they present is BS or not. We will. I promise you, the bullets that have the carvings on them will be there at trial, and we will see exactly what round it was that was fired through that 30-06. If they go, yeah, this is 225 grain, then okay, we may just, it's going to be convincing that Candace may be right. You know what I mean? But if they show us, yeah, this is 55 grain coyote shot, it's going to make Candace Owens look like an absolute fool. Why are we focused on this? Because we're not going to see the evidence until 2026. Buckle up, guys. Get comfortable with it now. I know it sucks, but we have to keep moving forward. Otherwise, the socialists will win. I have no doubt that this is a socialist op. I have a feeling. I have no proof for this. This is how you do it, Candace. I'm just letting you know. I have no proof for this whatsoever. I just have a gut feeling. And I'm probably never going to find proof for this. But I have a feeling Candace is being paid off by the left. I have a feeling she's being paid off by the left to keep all of this stuff going in order to distract from what it is that we are supposed to be paying attention to. Not to mention, she's so anti-Trump now, just like she was in 2016, just like she was when she was doxing kids because they were cyberbullying people. Guys, wake up. Look into who Candace Owens, or AKA Red Pill Black, actually is.
Now, 2 months later, the narrative has turned into conspiracy drama about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
if Turning Point was involved in it.
Right.
References to Jewish donors pulling out and how Erica knew everything. And that's the narrative the #1 podcast has given us.
That's correct. That is the narrative the #1 podcast has given us. Why is that important right now? And why is she backtracking on Erica Kirk? She's sitting there trying to act like, oh, I would never say anything bad about Erica Kirk. I'm saying things bad about, everything Erica Kirk does and her position and the company and everything, just not directly Erica Kirk. Like, that makes sense.
Candace can talk about whatever she wants. Same thing with Tucker Carlson. I will defend. No one has an obligation to hold my views or do what I want them to do.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying Candace should or should not do anything.
Right.
My point is the audience effect of what I'm seeing.
Yes.
It felt like we were focused. Trump needed to win. The agenda needed to continue. Now, what do we have? Well, half the people are tweeting about the Jews. The other half are tweeting about how Turning Point killed Charlie. The #1 podcast is just basically covering the true crime aspect of an assassination of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I'm just like, focus is gone. Was Charlie really holding all of this together, maybe? Seriously. And
no, Charlie Kirk was not holding it all together, okay? Charlie Kirk, if it would have been you that this happened to, Tim, things would still be going probably this way, if I had to guess. If this happened to the quartering. Maybe not so much the quartering, simply because he doesn't actually go out and about, so I don't know if it would happen. Yeah, I don't know if it would go this way, because it would have to be like some sort of home invasion thing, probably, you know what I mean? And that would be way easier to cover up, to be honest, than everybody else out there. So anyway, they needed a good narrative to be like, hey, this has happened out in the public. Here's video of it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that way they could draw more nuance. So if it happened to someone like that or anybody else who does stuff like me, even, you know what I mean? Just in our own homes, it's going to be a lot harder to get nuanced evidence. You know what I mean? Because there's not going to be any video that leaks, more than likely. So I guess that would be different. But if it was someone like you going out into public, if it was somebody like, who else goes out? Tucker Carlson or anything like that, I think the narrative would still end up being very, very similar. I don't know that it was specifically Charlie Kirk. Not to take away from Charlie, it's just, this is clearly how the grifters are going to be grifting. It could have been anybody, and they would be doing this. You know what I mean? It was a public assassination. It was something very akin to John F. Kennedy. It's big, big news to ride on. And this is why I have such a problem with it. Initially, whenever this happened, I was dedicating my channel to calling out everybody who was supporting the violence against Charlie. Now my channel is becoming more and more dedicated to calling out the people who are dividing MAGA, because it's so dangerous right now. If MAGA is divided, the people who took out Charlie Kirk will win no matter what, whether Candace is right or wrong. Think about it. A divided MAGA will allow more assassinations to take place, because we're not going to be there to stop either the evil Netanyahus, which I doubt ended up having anything to do with this, or the most likely thing, the people who were already at the campus, who deleted their freaking webpage and everything, the extreme Antifa violent left, who we've seen assassinate MAGA people in this country already. Remember the guy in Portland wearing the MAGA hat was taken out? There were so many MAGA people who have been attacked, physically assaulted, shot, killed by Antifa, and we're shocked that it happened again at a college. How many trans people have been going around and, firing into schools and into churches? Come on, guys. They're clearly a threat. And until they're gone, I don't want to worry about other countries. I want to worry about the terrorists that are in my country. And Candace Owens is taking away from that. We have terrorists here. I don't care about the terrorists across the pond. That's their problem. Candace, we need to get rid of the ones here. And you are distracting from that. I really feel like somebody's paying her to do that.
Focus is gone. And it seems like
it is
H-1Bs with Trump, Chinese visas. And I'm just sitting here being like, wow, someone took a sledgehammer to the right coalition and splattered it.
Yeah.
And like goop sprang in every direction. We are all now completely dejected and ripped apart. Forgive me for being a little bit black-pilled on the issue. But then I take a look at that and Gen Z basically saying we don't care. And I'm like, okay, well, we're losing the younger generation. Yeah. They're not pro-Trump. You've got the biggest right-leaning podcast is basically just true crime now. And again, I'm not saying that Candace doesn't have the right to do that. They're mad at Tucker for interviewing Nick Fuentes, and he has every right to hold the opinions he wants to hold. I'm just saying right now, we are fractured. And the left is not. They're still up to their schemes.
The problem is MAGA will always call out their own. MAGA will always call out their own whenever things happen because we don't march in lockstep. The left does. And the left gets rid of weak links. Anybody who is weak on the issues that the left mainly holds, they will kick out very quickly and have nothing to do with them. And knowing that those people they kick out will still support the left because they're lockstep. That's their version of purity testing. Ours is like, hey, this is completely and totally bogus, And we don't uphold them. We do not try to keep them around at all. It's like, no, you go on and kind of get out of here. You know what I mean? And we're not as nearly as lockstep. We really do hold people accountable for awful things in general. The left is not. The left will be like, oh, you're not pro-Palestine enough, Ethan Klein? Oh, okay. Well, we're still we don't like you, so we're just going to keep threatening you, and you're still going to pander to us. It's kind of crazy, right? It's pretty nuts. So anyway, Candace Owens here, okay? There was a joke that Babylon Bee did that was pretty funny. Megyn Kelly gets rid of old pager just to be safe. That's very, very funny. That is very funny. But then Candace Owens is sitting here going, I've been telling people for about 2 years now that Seth Dillon is a psycho behind the scenes and the Babylon Bee is not engaged in telling jokes. Or is not engaged in telling jokes. And yes, Seth pressed Charlie in the Hamptons about his shifting views on Israel. All because of a joke. She's like, what the F, Seth Dillon? And then, in a very similar thing too, Turning Point USA. Get off the internet if you do not have within you the courage to withstand Elijah Schaffer making a joke, okay? All of these people have said things about me. I've been mocked for everything from the color of my skin to who I work for, and you name it. There's a joke out there that's said about me, okay? Or not, even a joke. People just being insulting. Something, wake up. I'm called the N-word, big deal. The internet is optional. Alexis Wilkins, it's not optional. Here she is trashing people literally just like a day ago for being upset over jokes. And then their joke is, Megyn Kelly gets rid of old pager just to be safe. I mean, that's just funny. Because first of all, the pagers, they took an explosive. It wasn't like they just blew them up remotely with the internet, with the power of the internet. No, they put explosives in the pagers. So obviously, she wouldn't have access to that. Nobody would have access to her devices either, so it's impossible. Also, Israel, it would be impossible for them to go after Megyn Kelly just in general. They're across the pond, right? So it's just really, really funny because it wouldn't be likely. So making an assassination joke about something that really can't happen is very funny. It's because it's unexpected. I shouldn't have to explain a joke, but they are going off and freaking out over this an hour ago, Candace. An hour ago, when you literally defended Elijah Schaffer's joke against TPUSA. You both suck. TPUSA right now sucks. Candace Owens sucks. Ben Shapiro in the Daily Wire sucks. Tucker Carlson sucks. Nick Fuentes sucks. Because every one of you people constantly contradict each other. Look at this. Look at this. Nick Fuentes, the man who's supposed to be a free speech and everything, who's supposed to be super duper banned, and he's supposed to be a free speech absolutist and stuff. Not that long ago, ended up saying something about, like, let's see, he did FBI, whatever, he called them out for a joke. Josh Hammer called me and Tucker Carlson to be neutralized after our interview, which didn't happen at all. He said the ideology needed to be neutralized, and then you're talking to the FBI about it, going, investigate this comment. Every one of you guys are fake freaking right-wing people. You all are leftists to the core. Every one of you all. Daily Wire, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes. You guys suck. Genuinely, you all suck. And I'm tired of it. Every time someone makes a joke or insults you, you go running and crying about it. While on the other side, when you do that, you tell them to get off the internet. Oh, get off the internet. You can't handle it. You people are freaking hypocrites. Why are people following you? Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys here in the live stream tonight. Later.